I'm Staff Sergeant Tristan McIntyre. For all the military exercises that I've covered with AFN, this is my first one with the Marine Corps. And wouldn't you know, the Marines sent me here. Staff Sergeant John Archiquette and I are in the Nord-Trøndelag region of Norway for exercise Cold Response 16. While the name of this town is easy to say, the names of other towns and villages in this region are a little more difficult.
Sjøåsen.
Sahoisen.
Johansen.
Medfjordvær.
Midjorfara. I really don't know.
Mefjordjorven.
Kvaløy og Rauøy.
Kovaloi. Og Rayo.
Valøy og Raioi.
Kevoy og Garama.
Yeah, there we go.
Nailed it.
Gråsjøen.
Grasjoen.
Grashon.
Grasjoen.
Gasjoen.
Dovrefjell Sunndalsfjella nasjonalpark.
Dovrefjell.
Dorvel Sundalsfjella Nanshala Park.
National Park. National Park. That one's pretty easy.
Sundalsfjella. National Park.
Killed it.
In military exercises, we often focus on the partnership between international military participants. But how does the operation affect the cities and the citizens surrounding the event? Let's take a look at how this beautiful area of Norway handles an operation featuring tanks, troops, and military vehicles using their communities as a battlefield.
The Nord-Trøndelag is a pristine and scenic region of Norway, with picturesque fjords and hillsides dotted with quaint villages. But during Cold Response 16, the normally quiet countryside witnesses some intense action. For the citizens of this region, it was like having a battle play out right outside your window.
No, I think it was exciting, for I've never seen a war like that before. Most was the helicopter. That was very exciting. I have never seen a so big helicopter before.
Landing helicopters in soccer fields and inserting ground forces into the community of Namsos, the assault centered on taking the town from the defending coalition. And unlike most exercises where battles take place on a military base or in a remote field, this battle happened
here, in my garage, in my steps, and so they go over there and on the area here.
Like any real war, every inch of the town became tactically significant. British commando teams take a small hill and provide intense machine gun support for advancing fire teams. No live rounds are used by any participants, but the sound of gunfire and commands still echo throughout the town. Each house and snowbank becomes real-world cover. For the citizens watching the scene unfold, it is like having all the action and firepower of a real battle right in their backyard. But in order to make this scenario work, proper communication between military and community members is key.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking to the people, make sure they're okay with us using their houses for cover and concealment, and we just treat them like natural obstacles.
Despite the disruption of having troop and vehicle maneuvers occurring throughout the region, these Norwegians know the importance of international military exercises, especially those old enough to remember the last time Norway was invaded.
The old people, I think they maybe remind the Second War. Norwegian understands that we have to have a kind of this military activity in peacetime. I think so.
And this Norwegian hospitality has shown to the international coalition of soldiers waging war amongst their tiny hamlets.
Well, they've been extremely friendly. Like, they help us out. Sometimes they'll bring out food or hot drinks. But otherwise, they're just cool with us letting use their land.
How has this up-close glimpse of battle affected the youngest generation of Norwegians?
The small kids understand that that was a game.
So while the chaos of Cold Response 16 may have woken up the quiet neighborhoods of Nord-Trøndelag, the citizens here know that it will wrap up soon, and life will return to its normal pace.
When you have gone, next day, just the same as usual.
But for now, the soldiers and vehicles of Cold Response 16 will put on their best show and practice the drills that will keep this community safe should the need ever arise.
Cold Response 16 is just that, it's cold. And the Marines are giving us cold weather gear.
This is your extreme cold weather bootie. This slips on over your bare foot. These are your extreme cold weather boots. That's our extreme cold weather parka. We call it happy jacket, because in extreme cold weather, you put that thing on, you become very happy very quickly. Extreme cold weather mittens, extreme cold weather pants. The happy suit's not too bad. It's just like wearing a normal winter outfit.
Now we've seen what the Marines are wearing to keep warm, let's go to the field and take a closer look at their living conditions.
It's MTV Cribs, Norway. My name's Corporal Ramsey. This is my crib. This is where all the magic happens, eating chow. It's my crib.
The bulk of Cold Response 16 is happening in the Trondheim region in central Norway. Up north is where most of these troops are and where the exercise is, where all the action is. But none of this would happen without the logistics and the planning, and all that takes place down south near Varnes. With more than 10 nations and 15,000 troops participating, Exercise Cold Response 16 has many moving parts. Organizing the operations is the job of the Combined Joint Task Force, or CJTF. One of the first and most important parts is communication.
I'm a communications planner, so I work on the comm side as far as putting together the overall communications plan.
And it's great because we have both the joint and the coalition piece. So as we move through the exercise, we're able to really integrate our communication systems and make sure that not only the Marines are talking to each other, but we're talking to all our coalition and joint allies that are out here.
A big part of the exercise is amphibious landings. Enter the U.S. Navy.
So we do have a small contingent of U.S. Marines on board our amphibious ship, the USS Henry, and they will be brought ashore through an amphibious landing. And basically we are helping to coordinate all of the maritime assets.
A fully integrated exercise also needs air support.
I am part of a team of professional planners who take a look anywhere from 96 to 120 hours out before actual execution, before the aircraft actually take off, and ensure that the aviation support we provide to the CJTF is consistent with the CJTF's objectives.
And last but certainly not least,
nothing really happens in the Marine Corps without a good logistics background. So we're responsible for all of the sustainment, food, chow, water, and different classes of supplies.
Each of these planners integrate with the partner nations and Norwegian hosts to make the exercise happen. That makes this supporting team combined and joint.
Next door to the city of Varnes is the old Viking capital of Trondheim. Now, Vikings were known for their ability to sail on shallow waters and launch attacks on land. Now, fast forward to the 21st century, and who's better than amphibious landings like this than the U.S. Marines? Cold Response offered the perfect opportunity to practice these landings in some unfamiliar terrain.
Standard beach landings like we're used to in the United States Navy and Marine Corps, large, very sandy beaches with not a whole lot of high terrain on either side. Now we're going deep inland through essentially is not quite a river, but it's a very long finger of ocean that sticks well into land.
With the challenges presented by the fjords and Arctic weather, this training broke the ice in more ways than one.
And we have not really practiced this in this type of terrain since the 1980s during the Cold War days. This is a re-education for us to try to get back into that mindset of we may have to support our allies and partners up in this part of the world.
As we wrap things up here in Norway, these amphibious vehicles, as well as most of the other equipment used during this exercise, are stored in caves in the Nord-Trøndelag region.
Now it's time for these Marines to turn off the lights and lock up after the exercise.
But this gear remains at the ready in case of the need of its deployment ever arises.
For now, we'll say goodbye from another successful Cold Response.
Thanks for watching.